Okay, so this is my Buddhism final project. I'm basically just gonna go through the families and talk about how they relate to me. I'll read like a description of it, and then some positives and negatives about it, and then how that relates to who I am. So I'll start with the Earth family. So the Earth influence is associated with strength, authority, abundance, and command. The Earth element reminds us of how good it feels to be in charge of our lives. We all want to feel that we are building something of importance in our lives. When we are under the influence of the enrichment-oriented aspects of our personality, we feel drawn towards establishing stability, a desire to determine boundaries and maintain things exactly as they are in terms of their capacity to empower the experience of life. We see what is as being the best of all possibilities. So one thing I want to go back to is when it says the Earth element reminds us of how good it feels to be in charge of our lives. So one thing I want to say about that is so I've been playing basketball all my life, and my dad, and I also wanted to play in college at one point. My dad really wanted me to, but recently my feelings for basketball have kind of diminished my passion for it. So I kind of had to tell him that it's not really a passion for me anymore. He was kind of upset, but he accepts it because it is my life. So that's just an example of me taking control of my life or whatever. Some other things, it manifests as a measure of confidence in your personal belief system, which is in turn allows you more easily to lead others. I think that I am pretty good at, leading others. I'm kind of I don't want to say that to sound arrogant or anything, but people kind of take to me because of my personality, I guess. Some positive things about Earth, some positive words are centered, self-confident, generative, and authoritative. And then some negative words about it are stubborn, dictatorial, narrow-minded, and arrogant. I can be stubborn sometimes, but that's when I feel I know something really well and someone tries to argue me. I can be narrow-minded also. That goes with me feeling I know something and someone else doesn't. The next family I'll talk about is fire, which I think is kind of my strongest, which is why it's the biggest circle on here. So the fire influence is associated with energy, artistry, relationship, and communication. The fire element reminds us of how good it feels to be connected with our world. The fire influence in human nature manifests as the enjoyment-oriented personality. The primary motivation is the need for interconnection between self and others. We all want to be noticed. One thing that I've kind of gotten better at is meeting new people. I'm kind of shy at first, but if we sit down and talk, it's a pretty chill dude. And I also like meeting new people, even though I'm shy. It's kind of just even though that's opposite, but so some positives about it is that it results in a compassionate personality and able to empathize and communicate effectively or even artistically with others. I think I'm pretty well at communicating with others. For example, I've been the captain of the basketball team since freshman year, and I think that's just because of how I can communicate with others and tell them what to do without necessarily criticizing them and making them feel bad about messing up. I just tell them that it's okay and you need to do this in an encouraging way. Some positive words for it is engaging, entertaining, warm, and connected. And some negative words about it: shallow, aggressive, seductive, and uncentered. So, yeah. The next one I'll talk about is the wind, which is I think it's my next strongest, which is why it's the next biggest on the thing. So, the wind influence is associated with action, freely working in the world, service, support, dedication, and efficiency. Wind is the element of action and freedom of movement. We can be wherever we need to be, whenever we need to be. As part of our personality, the wind element reminds us of how good it feels to be needed in our world. We all want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. The wind influence in human nature manifests as the activity-oriented personality with the potential to move freely from one point to point as one thing becomes more important than the other. So,
This kind of goes with my strength in the strengths finder test we took freshman year, because one of my strengths was adaptability. So it means kind of just like go with the flow. So I think that's basically what this is saying. Some other thing, the wind influence results in a self-giving, serving, and accomplishing personality, inspired to greatness by the highest of visions. Yeah, I like to help others whenever I can. So if I see my friends in need, I'll pretty much drop what I'm doing if I don't think it's that important, or if my friend's situation is more important, I'll help them to make sure they're okay and stuff like that.
Some positive words are generous, free, efficient, and supporting. And then some negative words are impatient, insecure, envious, and mechanical. I'm not really envious of anyone. I like to see everyone succeed. So it makes me feel good once my friends or people that I know are succeeding. I can be impatient sometimes. Hate waiting. Not really insecure, but another word on here that's negative is competitive. I can be really competitive. I only get really competitive in sports, rather. I can't get competitive about grades, but I'm just competing with myself, not necessarily other people. If I know I can do better than that, I'll be like, try to get myself better. And then the next is the water. Water influence is associated with knowledge, self-discovery, strategy, and individuality. The water element reminds us of how good it feels to know what is really true about life. Primary motivation at the water level of human nature is the intellectually oriented personality. This can show up as a need to put distance between self and others for more clarity. I think I'm pretty intellectually driven, even though it might seem like I'm not at school, because it might look like I'm not trying because I don't really like study or anything like that. But I do like learning new things. But with that being said, it says this can show up as a need to put distance between self and others. I don't really like distance myself from others to gain more knowledge or anything like that. It says we want to know that we are right, which is true. I don't like being wrong. Some positive words are strategic, clever, scientific, and knowledgeable. And then some negative words are defensive, distant, code, and code, like code, and scheming. I can get pretty defensive when I feel that I know something. Like I've said already in this, like if I feel I know something really well and someone tries to argue me, I'll get pretty defensive about that. I don't really like distance myself or anything like that. Another positive word is determined. If I can't get something, I'll keep doing it until I can get it. And then last one, and the least, is void. So the term void is a translation from Sanskrit and Japanese. I can't pronounce the words that it says, but it means emptiness. This sense of being empty implies being unfixed or empty of any set quality that could exist in or of itself, uninfluenced by anything else. The void influence is associated with potential, freedom, creativity, and limitlessness. In human nature, the void manifests as a space-giving personality and relates to observing far-reaching horizons of philosophy and spirituality. So, I don't know. I can't really relate to this one. It says that they tend to be like daydreaming, I guess. I can get daydreaming, but that happens mainly when I'm bored and I'm just sitting there. It says free and peaceful. I guess I can relate to that. It kind of relates to some other ones, but some positive words for this is creative, self-fulfilling, unpredictable, and unique. I think I'm pretty unique. I think you should ask my friends. I think I'm pretty unique. And then some negative words are deluded, dreamer, spacey, and erratic. So, yeah, that's it.